and welcome to this Team QSW video on rigging. And what I'm going to focus on today is cammed and multi-cammed sail rigging. So I've got here a Severne Overdrive 7.5. It's a tri-cam sail, and I'm going to show you the best way to rig it with ease and quickly without any hassle. Now, the first thing to remember with Severne sails, they are designed to rig with the luff on the left hand side. So you can see the luff running off on the left hand side there. Okay, that's the way you rig it. Don't try and rig it the other way, because it'll just make life more difficult for you. So the first thing we're going to do is we get our mast, and this takes a 460. This is an Enigma mast. The first thing I've done, as you can see just here, I've taped up the joint. The joint's taped up basically so you don't get sand inside it, and also the mast doesn't part company, which obviously if it parts company the stress goes on it and it can snap at that point. So a simple little tip there. Okay, so I'm now feeding the mast up through the sail. The important thing to remember with this is you feed the mast in above the battens. It's going to make it a lot easier when you actually come to load up those cams. Okay, so we've now fed the mast into the sail. So we now have to look at our extension. Obviously we have the extension on the mast. So if you've got this is a luff of 464. I've got a 460 mast in here, so I'm going to need an extension of 4 centimetres. But one useful thing to also point out is Severne do make these SDM extenders. So if, for instance, this needed a 490 mast, and I've got a 460, you can just slip it into there, extend your mast, and then your extension goes in the bottom there. Okay. One thing just to take note of is that you need the short extensions when you're using these, because the long ones, as you can see, poke out a bit there. Okay, so we now put our extension in, and we're now going to feed the line in through the pulleys. Now with Severne, they're quite they're 4 pulleys, so it's quite easy. This is Formuline, very strong, very tightly knit, so it's very good to feed in, and it keeps its shape. So I'm now going to feed in, and you feed from the back forwards, and you just keep the lines in line with each other. As I say, it's a 4 into 1, so feed that around like so. Into the last one. So you've now fed them in like so. And they're all in line. So you're getting your maximum efficiency. Okay, so now for the critical bit, because we've got to get the cams on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to load up the downhaul of the sail. So I've got my puller, which you definitely need on these bigger sails, and I'm going to load it right. It hasn't necessarily got to go all the way, but I've put a fair bit of loading onto that. I'm going to put a touch more on this one, and you're almost loading it ready to sail. So all down bar about 4 centimetres. Okay, so now we want to get the boom on, clamp it on the front, and also put it on the back. So I'm now going to clamp this up, ready to load up the outside of the sail to help us get these cams on. So I've clamped the front of the boom on. I'm not fussed what height it is, and also the cams aren't on, but I've just simply got the boom attached. And what I'm now going to do is I'm now going to attach the leech end to the sail, so I can then load up the sail. So we've attached the clew, and what we're now going to do is we're now going to let off the downhaul, let it off to about 10 centimetres, put a small amount of outhaul on, and then we should be able to pop these cams. So I've let this off to around about 8 to 10 centimetres, okay, and we're now going to pop the cams on. If the cams pop on, and then when you come to the next one they pop off again, it means you need a touch more downhaul. I'm talking 1 centimetre at a time. These sails are quite sensitive to how much you have on here. So again, let it all off, and then if they pop off too easily, just add a little bit, 1 centimetre at a time, and then you'll find they'll hold. So we push this, yep, that's the bottom one on. Middle one, very easy. And what I'm actually doing is pushing just inside the sail and then using my fingers to clip the clam on. So push my hand, oh that was already on. Okay, see this one's popped off, so we just push down and push it back on. Now what we do, and sometimes they do pop off again, is just load up the sail with the right amount of downhaul, slowly adding it on. Slowly add it on. Like so. You can see your cams have stayed on. Your leech is loosened right off. We're going to now put a little bit more on because this just needs a touch more. It's quite, some people use a cam to do this. Like that. Now you'll find your clue's gone loose. Take up the slack. And there you have a well set up multi-cam sail. Let's go have some fun now.